our dreams. We all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts and prepare for a comedic flight of turbulence as I, Rusty, take the stage. I've spent my days as an airline pilot, and let me tell you, it's been a journey filled with more unexpected detours than a lost tourist. From landing gear mishaps that left passengers guessing to in-flight announcements that sounded more like stand-up comedy, I've seen it all at 30,000 feet. But don't worry, folks, because tonight, we're turning those aviation anecdotes into laughter at terminal velocity. Before we soar into my pilot misadventures, let me share a joke my manager once told me. Rusty, your approach to flying is so unique, even the clouds can't keep a straight face. While working as airline pilot, this is what my manager said about my work. Rusty, they say the sky's the limit, but you've redefined it with your flight paths. While working some extra hours, my team said this. Your landings are so unique, even the air traffic controllers can't predict where you'll touch down. Picture this. My executives' comment on my work went something like this. You've turned every flight into a guessing game of where's the airport. You won't believe the hilarious thing my manager said. I asked for a smooth ride, but you've given us a roller coaster in the sky. So, there I was on a coffee break when one of my colleagues said to me, even the flight attendants have started offering in-flight comedy shows to distract passengers from your announcements. So, on a Friday, my team came up with this gem about my work. Your takeoffs are like a surprise party for the passengers, and they weren't invited. Another day I went to work and my manager said, you're like a pilot with a sixth sense for turbulence. You find it even on the calmest of days. Ever had your work summed up by your chief in a single sentence? Mine did. And it's as if you're trying to break the record for most flight diversions in a single journey. So, my team leader came up with this singer about my work. You've managed to turn every flight into an adventure, and we're all just along for the ride. So, my manager dropped this gem about my work recently. I didn't know flying could be a form of entertainment until I experienced your flights. I've heard some things in my time, but what my superior said about my work was truly memorable. Even the clouds have started avoiding your flight path to stay out of trouble. While working some extra hours, my team said this. You've turned every plane into a mystery novel, and the passengers are the detectives trying to solve it. We went for a team building and my team leader dropped this gem. Your in-flight announcements are so unique, even the flight attendants can't keep a straight face. It's like my superintendent woke up and decided to roast my work with this comment. It's like you're on a mission to find the bumpiest air pockets and make them your signature. I had to hold back laughter when my team commented on my work like this. Even the birds have started sending you traffic reports to avoid mid-air collisions. One of my colleagues dropped this gem on Monday. You're like a pilot with a talent for taking the scenic route, even when it's not on the itinerary. You won't believe the hilarious thing my manager said. Your flights are so memorable that passengers are starting to collect your autographs. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my manager said this about my work. I've heard of flying by the seat of your pants, but you've taken it to a whole new level. Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my team said this about my work. You've turned every flight into an episode of Flying with just when I thought I'd heard it all. My team said this about my work. And we are all waiting to see what happens next. One day this is what my supervisor said about my work. Even the flight simulators can't replicate your unique style of flying. Here's a good one. My team's take on my work was, your flying is so unique, I think you're in a competition with the birds for the most creative flight patterns. I couldn't believe it when my executive remarked this. You've turned every flight into an adventure, and the passengers are the unwitting explorers. My team's feedback on my work was quite the surprise. Even the turbulence is surprised by your sudden maneuvers. My employer's feedback was quite the surprise when he said, you're like a pilot with a built-in weather-changing device. Here's a good one. My head of department's take on my work was, your landings are so gentle that the flight attendants often mistake them for a sneeze. My boss's perspective on my work took an unexpected turn when he said, It's as if you're trying to turn every plane into a UFO sighting. Let me share what my director said about my work on Tuesday. Even the aliens are wondering what's going on up there. So, there I was on a coffee break when one of my colleagues said to me, "Your flights are so legendary that they've become the stuff of aviation folklore." Picture this. My team's comment on my work went something like this. "You're like a pilot with a secret mission to find the most scenic detours." You won't believe what my team said about my work recently. It's as if you're playing a game of hide and seek with the runways. Guess what my manager said during our meeting? Even the GPS can't keep up with your ever-changing flight plans. Last week, my controller threw this curved ball. You've managed to make turbulence a regular part of their in-flight entertainment. In the realm of unbelievable feedback, my administrator said this about my work. "Your takeoffs are so thrilling, I think you should start selling tickets for the front row." The other day, my boss had this to say about my work. "It's like you're trying to give passengers an extreme roller coaster experience at 35,000 feet. I had to hold back laughter when my administrator commented like this. Even the clouds are placing bets on whether you'll find a clear path or not. Guess what my team said about my work during one of our meetings? "You're like a pilot with a penchant for surprise landings in unexpected places." You'll get a kick out of what my manager said. Your flights have become so famous that they're now part of aviation history whether we like it or not. Let me share what my team had to say about my work just yesterday. It's as if you're trying to set a record for the most go-arounds in a single flight. Picture this. My executive's comment on my work went something like this. Even the flight attendants have started chanting, "Buckle up, it's Rusty's time to shine." Just this Wednesday, my colleague said this about me. "You're like a pilot with a knack for turning every journey into an unforgettable adventure." My employer's feedback was quite the surprise when he said, "Your flights are so unique, they should come with a warning label for passengers." Picture this. My team's comment on my work went something like this. "It's like you're trying to create your own version of their amazing race in the sky." We went for a team building and my team leader dropped this gem. Even the flight attendants have started packing parachutes, just in case. The other day, my boss had this to say about my work. "You've turned every flight into an impromptu comedy show, and we're the unwitting audience." One day, this is what my supervisor said about my work. "Your in-flight announcements are so entertaining, passengers are requesting encore performances." Another day I went to work and my manager said, "It's as if you're auditioning for a role in Top Gun, Comedy Edition." I've heard some things in my time, but what my superior said about my work was truly memorable. Even the geese are confused by your flight patterns. One of my colleagues dropped this gem on Monday. "You're like a pilot with a talent for making air travel an extreme sport." Let me share what my director said about my work on Tuesday. "Your landings are so gentle, I think the runway might be getting bored." It's like my superintendent woke up and decided to roast my work with this comment. It's like you're playing a game of flight roulette with the passengers. So, my team leader came up with this singer about my work. Even the flight control tower has started giving you directions in interpretive dance. Ever had your work summed up by your chief in a single sentence? Mine did. And it was, "You've managed to turn the seatbelt sign into a permanent feature on your flights." My boss's perspective on my work took an unexpected turn when he said, "Your takeoffs are so thrilling, they should come with a complimentary scream." So, my manager dropped this gem about my work recently. It's as if you're trying to introduce a new form of aerial ballet. I couldn't believe it when my executive remarked this. "Even the birds have started taking notes on your flight techniques." Here's a good one. My team's take on my work was, "You're like a pilot with a mission to keep us all on our toes, literally." In the realm of unbelievable feedback, my administrator said this about my work. "Your flights have become the stuff of legends, and the legends are still unfolding." Just when I thought I'd heard it all, my team said this about my work. "It's like you're trying to set a record for the most scenic route taken during a flight." While working some extra hours, my team said this. "Even the flight attendants have started carrying tambourines for your in-flight entertainment." I had to hold back laughter when my administrator commented like this. "You're like a pilot with a passion for making every flight an unforgettable experience." Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this comedic flight through my adventures as an airline pilot. I hope my tales of turbulence and unexpected detours brought a smile to your faces and made your own travel woes seem a little less daunting. As we prepare to land this laughter-filled aircraft, remember that sometimes it's the unexpected twists and turns that make the journey worthwhile, just like my flights. And now, let's conclude this evening's comedy voyage with a zinger from my manager. Rusty, your flying has redefined the phrase getting from point A to point B. You've taken us to point C, D, and everywhere in between. Thank you for being here and have a good day. See you on the next one.
And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything?
Hey, I may be the worst at my job, but at least I'm entertaining. Leave a comment down below and let me know what your manager is saying about your work. And if you didn't enjoy this show, well, I promise I'll try even harder to disappoint you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay employed and keep smiling.